Hi friends, my name is Yashavant Kanetkar and I am here today to discuss with you some of the intricacies of functions in C programming. I am sure you already know how to define a function and how to call it from different places within your program. First intricacy that I would try to discuss with you is the fact that in C programming, as far as functions are concerned, nobody is nobody's boss. By this what I mean is that if you have a program wherein you first make the declarations of two functions, Bombay and Kanpur, we know that these are known as prototype declarations of functions. Every single function that we make use of in our program, its prototype is necessary, where prototype contains what? Name of the function, any value that you pass to it, and the return type of the function. And then within main what I would do is, I would make a call to a function printf first. Printf is different than Bombay and Kanpur in the sense that printf is a library function. And then I'll make a call to Bombay, followed by that a call to Kanpur. Then let's define the Bombay function, wherein I will print out a message saying I am in Bombay, following which I am making a call to the Kanpur function. Lastly, let's define the Kanpur function, where we print out a message saying I am in Kanpur, and then follow it up with a call to the Bombay function. So when you attempt to execute this program, execution we now know begins always with main. So first thing that would get printed is I am in main. Following that, there is a call to Bombay function. So control will jump to wherever Bombay is defined. So it will bring the control here. Here Bombay would get executed, as a result of which this printf goes to work. I am in Bombay gets printed. And now there is a call to Kanpur, which will bring the control wherever Kanpur is defined. Once it reaches Kanpur, it will print out I am in Kanpur. And then notice that there is a call to Bombay. This call to Bombay will do what? It will simply bring the control once again back to Bombay. Again I am in Bombay would get printed. Again there is a call to Kanpur, so control will jump to Kanpur. I am in Kanpur will get printed. Call to Bombay brings you back to Bombay. So what has really happened? Bombay keeps calling Kanpur, Kanpur keeps calling Bombay. You and I are stuck up in an infinite loop. How to get out of this infinite loop is something that we would figure out. But what is important for you to note here is that neither Bombay is Kanpur's boss nor is Kanpur Bombay's boss. Nobody is nobody's boss. Any function is free to call absolutely any other function. The way Bombay can call Kanpur, Kanpur can call Bombay. The way main can call Bombay and Kanpur are in complete right of themselves to be able to call main. So don't be surprised tomorrow if main is called from Bombay. Perfectly okay. You are not violating any rule by doing so. So absolutely any function can call any other function. That's the first intricacy that I wanted to bring to your notice. Let's move on to the next one. Suppose we define Bombay first and then we define main. Realize that this is perfectly acceptable. And also notice that when you do so, you can do away with the prototype declaration of Bombay. Nowhere do you see the prototype which we had done in the previous program. There is no prototype of Bombay below hash include. Straightway you define Bombay and then you define main. Just because you define Bombay before main doesn't mean that execution will begin with Bombay. Execution always begins with main. That's why it's known as entry point of the program or EP of the program. So even though main is the second function, execution will still begin with main. I am in main will get printed. Then there is a call to Bombay. It will bring the control to Bombay. And Bombay would get executed. Once Bombay's execution is over, control will go back to main, and then you reach the closing brace of main, as a result of which execution comes to an end. So Bombay, if you define before main, then prototype is optional. You are free to define functions absolutely in any order. Their order of execution is dictated by the order of calls that you make to them within main. And also remember, execution will always start with main. As I mentioned, prototype of Bombay in this case is optional. That brings us to the third intricacy, wherein, if you observe carefully, now that we have defined Bombay after main, we have taken care to declare the prototype of Bombay. And all that we are doing is, we are printing out main, then in a loop, 20 times we are making call to Bombay. First call to Bombay brings the control to Bombay, executes Bombay, goes back. Again there is a call to Bombay, again it lands into Bombay, executes it, goes back. So Bombay keeps getting called 20 different times. Instead of getting it done this way, we can get exactly the same output had we written the loop within Bombay rather than within main. Out of these two, if you ask me which is a superior program, output of both the programs will be same. But second is superior for the simple reason that you do not keep shuttling between main and Bombay as you are required to do within the first program. In the second program, you call Bombay only once. You land into Bombay, run a loop there, do all your printing there, go back once and forever. Lesser the number of calls, faster will be the speed of execution of the program. More function calls you make, more will be the time that is required for executing the program. That's why in general I am saying more the calls, lower is the speed of execution of the program. Bear this in mind as you define newer and newer functions in this course. On that note, we'll stop here. Goodbye and good luck.